You know, it's been about 25 years, but ultimately, if I could turn back the clock and I could buy my first home again, there's 4 things that I may have done a little different or paid more attention to as I went through this process. So take a quick few minutes with me, especially if you're thinking about doing this today, and let's go over the 4 changes that I might have made if I was buying a house today. I'm Realtor Nick Bellmore, and I specialize in helping buyers find the right home for them and helping sellers make the move to a home that fits their need now. Let's take a few minutes today and let's look at some of the information. Number 1 on the list, no question about it, I would have looked more past the surface features of my first home. You know, this is a common thing for a lot of the buyers I deal with even today. People come into the home and they are looking at it for its instant livability. A lot of times they're looking at the cabinets, the countertops, the flooring, all those different things. And there's no question that they are important. They really, truly are. However, some of the most important things that I've learned over the years are really quite different than the surface level finishes that are on a home. And listen, do those finishes make it beautiful? Do they make that home pop? Yeah, sometimes they do. No question about that. But for me, one of the things that I would pay more attention to today is absolutely the number 1 thing, that old real estate trope: location, location, location. No question that location is one of the biggest factors that's going to contribute to the resale that can happen in the future for your home. Another thing that I might have paid more attention to, the layout. I definitely wanted to have something that was a little bit nicer at the time. And the truth is, I probably would have been better with something a little bit bigger, especially at the end of the 7-year period that I held that home and sold it for. Now, I will say this, one of the things that I did do right, I bought my first home at 21. I would tell young people today, the faster you get into the market, the better off you're going to be. But when you do jump in, make sure you're looking past the surface and really paying attention to the important details of the home that you can't change. When I bought my recent home with my wife, what are the most important things for us when we went in? It was without a doubt location. Second thing was our yard, because you definitely can't change the land. The rest of that stuff, when it came to the tile in our bathroom, when it came to the flooring, when it came to the colors, when it came to the fireplace mantle, the trim, all those things, some of them were where we wanted, some of them really weren't. And that's okay, because those are the things that it was easier to take care of over time and customize. But you're never going to be able to change the location. You're never going to be able to change the type of lot, and you're hardly going to be able to change the layout. Now, Nick, you might be able to put addition on. Yeah, okay, that's it for the most part, but talk about a major investment. You're oftentimes much better off looking at these things in the very beginning. Number 2 on the list, and no doubt this is an important one. You're not just buying the house, you're buying the neighborhood. And we know this, sometimes when we are looking to save money and we want to keep a great condition of the home, neighborhood is absolutely one of those things that gets sacrificed. Whether we're talking about school system or we're talking about crime rate or any of those other things that a lot of buyers quite simply don't think about until they get into the home. The reality is neighborhood is a big, big deal. What are some of the changes that might be happening in the neighborhood? Are people buying and fixing up, or is the neighborhood on a decline and therefore it's a little bit cheaper? Even though when I bought my first home, I didn't have kids. By the time I bought my second, I still didn't have kids, but I knew how important school district was when it came to resale. So another important point as we're taking a look at that neighborhood is, what's the school district like? And even though it might be years in the future before it directly affects your family, do understand that it does directly affect your home value. Another thing that's important to pay attention to, what's the crime rate like? One of the great things about a lot of municipalities is when you contact the police department, you can often get crime stats in the neighborhood. There's also several different websites out there that do share this type of information because a lot of it is public record. Study and understand, especially if you don't have a lot lot of history in that area. Here in Grand Rapids in West Michigan, a lot of people are moving from other areas. For us, we get a lot of people from Detroit, love you Detroit people, and Chicago, you guys too. Oh, by the way, we're a tremendous value in housing in comparison to Chicago. So if you're in Chicago and you're looking for a little more house for your dollar, check us out. But the reality is this, if you don't have a thorough understanding of the neighborhoods, the safety rate, all those different things, do that research before you just make a decision based on style and size and those other factors. It can make a world of difference in not just your resale, but also your experience living there. For some people, they love walkable neighborhoods. For others like me, they want to be far out in the country where the neighbors are away. Take these things and these factors into consideration as you're looking at the perfect house for you and your family. Number 3, and this is one that everybody hates, I get it. Budget more than you think. There's no question that oftentimes we're running into a lot of different things when we start to move. And it's not always repairs, but sometimes when we're getting a great value on the home, it is repairs as well. A lot of times people are looking at customization, right? Getting into something and painting it, making some changes, changing the flooring, landscaping, all these different things. That plus your move-in, and a lot of times too, if this is your first home, you might not have all the furniture you need. You might need dishes. You might need a million different things. I'll tell you one of the biggest ones I get from first-time home buyers, especially if they're coming from apartments, they don't have lawn equipment. So what ends up happening is while we put so much focus in this process on the amount of dollars out of pocket, and of course, yes, I'm talking about down payment and closing costs up front, and of course, we want to be prepared to make those monthly payments. The reality is a good chunk of money is going to be necessary to get the home to the place where you want it and to maybe fill in some of the gaps on the things that you have or you don't have and you might need, like a lawnmower, a weed whacker, a snow shovel, all those different things that some of us that have been in homes for years might take for granted because we've just had them for so long. First-time buyers do run into a lot of expenses quite often. And if you're already in a place, moving expenses are another thing people don't always account for. Whether you're paying a full-on crew of movers to help you get your stuff and move it to the new place, or you're just renting the old U-Haul and taking care of it yourself, we're still looking at expenses for the rental, for boxes, for tape, for packing materials, for all those odd-shaped things as well. So making sure that we have some room left in the budget for whether it's the new couch, or whether it's the paint, or whether it's the flooring, the closet organizers, or anything along the road. Hey, make sure you have that lawnmower. It's important to have something in the budget so that you can help fill in the blanks after you make the move and spend the giant chunk of money typically on the down payment and the closing costs. Last but not least, one of the things that we really need to pay attention to today, and listen, if you've been in the market, if you've been used to it, this one here might be a little bit different for you at this phase. But one of the things that we're starting to see out there that we need to pay attention to, it's okay to negotiate. Now, if we had this conversation, if I made this video 2 years ago, I'd tell you, good luck, I'm sorry, but everything is in a bidding war, and negotiation comes into how much over are you willing to pay. But things are a little bit different today. The market's changed. We have more inventory, and the interest rates have moved up, which ultimately puts a little bit more choice out there for the buyer. And because there is some choice, there is absolutely a little bit more room to negotiate. And now, am I talking about sales price? Yeah, I'm definitely talking about sales price, but I'm not just talking about sales price. I'm also talking about closing costs. I'm also talking about days to stay after closing versus immediate occupancy. I'm also talking about repairs after the home inspection. The reality is today, buyers are in a better shape than they've been in a long time when it comes to the ability to negotiate. While a lot of our new construction still operate off of the base price as the base price, even our builders are showing some incentives in rate buy downs in order to give something as those buyers come in and look at those new construction homes. Few things to look at when it comes to when's the best time to negotiate. Number one, Are you the only offer? If so, it's a great time for us to be able to look to get something off of that house in some specific way. And obviously there's a lot of choices out there for how we would do that. The other thing that we have to look at, how long has that home been on the market? In our area, it is an average of 27 days on the market for people in West Michigan. And so ultimately the question comes into this, with 27 days on the market, how long has the home you're interested been out there? Has it been out there for multiple days, 30, 45, 50 days? One we just put together was on the market for 100 days. You better believe we were absolutely able to get a fantastic deal for our buyers on that. Take a look at that factor and just know that the longer a home's been on the market, the more room there's going to be in that process to be able to negotiate. The other things we want to look at are condition. Is this home a flip? Is everything perfect? Is it on trend? Well, then there's probably more people interested in it, quite frankly. Maybe it might need some updating. And those are typically the homes where we're going to have a little bit more room to negotiate as we start to go through this process. It's an important thing, and there's never been a better time for buyers to be able to negotiate in the last 3 to 4 years than right now. If you're in the market, if you're out there now and you're looking for a deal, good news. You absolutely have ability now to get one of the best deals you've been able to in many, many years. And that really comes into doing your homework when it comes to the property itself and the condition and the competition in that situation. All right, so if you've gotten some value out of this video, do me a giant favor. Go ahead and like and subscribe so I can get more information out to more people week after week as I put this together. And if you yourself are thinking about making a move and want a little guidance as you go through this process, or want to know some of the best tactics on how to get the best deal in this kind of market, reach out to me. My information is in the description below, and I would absolutely love to help guide you through the process and help get the perfect home for you and your family.